Here we go. More parts left to go. While we were waiting, a new transmission came in. Show you that in a minute. I gotta use two more bolts off here. Over here. Didn't have any luck before. So there's screws that point up and stick it up in my hand from the gas cap piece and from the gas door part of the bottom. Really hurts when it stabs me in the hand. Yes. Use the hammer. this one off. Look at the middle one, and there's one way that, look in here, the gas door thing is in the way. To pull it off, I need to pull the tank. So I'm gonna not do that. Might be a way around it though. Broke that off. Get the last one. And it don't look like it's going. This one. Magnet. There. poked in there. This middle one right here broke. One, two, three, four. There's one missing. Be right there. Deal with that later. Okay. Now they're steady over there. Okay, ground fixture off. Let's do I guess I'm going to throw all this stuff in the back. Get to it. As far as putting it all back together. Take off the antenna part and then I'll save for today for this. I can start putting in a transmission. for that. Rear bumper. All the hardware for that. Good stuff. It's all good. Come down. Take that spoiler off. I'm going to do that today. All right, welcome back. I'm going to continue on the Fox body we have here. Had an automatic originally, and I wanted a manual, so I got a manual transmission for it and all the swap stuff. There's the manual. Originally, I rebuilt this transmission. I bought all the upgrade parts and stuff for it. For whatever reason, the fifth gear shift fork doesn't engage like it should, so I think it's either on backwards or I got the wrong one. The part number called for something different. Nobody sold it. So this is the one that everybody said was going to work. I got to pull this back apart and fix it. But in the meantime, I got frustrated, so I went and bought a brand new T5 for it, which should be here today or this week sometime. And in the meantime, I decided I was going to get some started on some body work. So I have an aluminum drive shaft from when it was an automatic. It was in there. It's got Flowmaster mufflers, X-pipe, no cats. There's the cross member for it. Here's all the parts. I took the front end off. All the plastics are gonna need some work. Some of them are warped. The front end has like where somebody put fog light holes. They drilled holes in the bottom down there for fog lights, I guess, even though it has fog lights. Not sure why they did that, but I'm gonna fix it. So I'm not buying any new plastics. You can't even find these right here, these side pieces. These are probably about impossible to get unless you find them used somewhere. But these aren't in terrible shape. It's just this top piece right here where it goes up against, because what they do is these just clip on the metal plates. I'll show you the metal plates in a minute. But they were kind of like pulling away. So it looks like they're peeling out. So I'm going to fix those, and I'll show you that on how to do that on the repair. I looked it up on YouTube. I have never repaired any before. I've done plastic welding before, but as far as fixing stuff that's warped, I'm guessing it was just going to be a heat gun issue, and that's what I'm going to use, is the heat gun. Let's see what else am I doing to this thing. Those are the new headlights I put in the car. The car had a lot of work done to it. I did all the work. I got it. I originally had a 40-foot shipping container here, and I needed to get rid of it. The county said I had to, so I put it up on Facebook Marketplace. Said, hey, anybody willing to buy it or trade for a Mustang, I'd be willing to do that. And had to be a manual, had to be a V8. Well, I didn't get the manual thing, but I got the automatic one, and this guy had this one. He said, oh yeah, great condition. I drove out in the middle of nowhere and looked it up, looked it over, and it's got a lot of dents in it. So I'll have a lot of body work to do. Had a dent on the top, this area here. This dent was in there already. I put another dent in it right here when I dropped the hood on it, trying to pick it up by myself. That wasn't very good. I could bang this stuff out. I've been doing body work for years, so this is nothing new. I took like I said, took the ground effects off, unbolted everything I could. These are those tracks that the side pieces clip into here and here, and then they just screw it on the bottom and on the front side of this. These are in really good shape. I'm going to do my best to leave them on because you'll never get them to stick as well as the factory did. Like right here, usually they come up on the ends. These are really nice, so I'm just going to sand them and paint them on the car. You can see the dents down the side of the door. There's a lot of them. I'm going to do my best to get these out before I have to fill anything. I want to put as little body filler in here as I can. It's the original paint as far as I know. This area right here, somebody tried to repaint it with a freaking spray can. It looks like shit, so I'm going to go back and fix it. I'm in the middle of pulling this bumper piece off. It's got a crack down here. Looks like somebody backed into something. I'm going to plastic weld that. And reach up here and pull this down. So there's no real rust on this car anywhere. Just some where this rubber stuff's coming off, which I'll fix. But it's got some rust pitting along here. It's like underneath this wing. So this wing's going to come off next after I do this bumper cover. back up. Struts work really well, which I was surprised. I didn't have to change those. I retinted the windows, and I completely redid the interior on this car. Everything has been resprayed or replaced. Anything I could find when I replaced the part, I replaced it. Anything I couldn't find, then I went ahead and repaired 5% window tint on the back and the real little quarter breezes, legal for Arizona on the front windows, and then the windshield itself has a 5% piece of tint on it. I replaced this taillight piece because it was missing. I bought a new one. I should have got two. The white part for the reverse light is a little off. This one's got like a bunch of cracks on it. I may replace this one later on. I'm not sure. That's what those are off for. Again, this side, the paint is really faded off of it. It's car overall is in good shape. It's just has a lot of dents. There's more dents in the door. You can see right there. One up top, one down the bottom there. And then there's some on the roof. So the roof ones are like, it goes on like a crease. Like somebody laid something across it and then it dented it, or it was sitting on top. When I went and picked it up, it actually had stuff laying on top of the car. So I'm not surprised that it's dented. Gonna do my best not to have to take these windows out. I can pull them up and then tuck in a piece of wire or something underneath this to hold this up, and then I can sand underneath the edge, and then when I paint it, it won't have a line for that. So, and then it'll go back down, and then I'm going to figure out a way to repair the rubber pieces, because these are $900 for a pair of them, and eventually I'm going to sell this car anyway. So if somebody else wants to replace those later, that's fine. They can spend their $900. I currently am not going to do that though. I'll make them look good, and there's ways to fix it to where it looks decent. You just tape it off and either shove butyl in there, or you can put filler. I prefer not to use filler, but if you can use butyl, I'll try that. This was all, the doors were cleaned up and I did the trim on them, came out okay. These pieces come off. I got brand new ones for the side pieces there. I put new door handles in it because these were all jacked up and broken off, and this was really dented bad in here, and I straightened it out the best I could, and then put new door locks in it. Underneath where the ground effects were, it was pretty good. Like I said, I still got to pull the back off. Well, this one's in good place, good condition also. And then there's that other trim piece on the bottom down here where the trim slides into is this. And if you need to tighten it up, you can just tap it with a mallet and it'll be tight like these are. Not sure if it's spring steel or what, but it holds that really, really well. So I'll paint it and then put them on afterwards. Haven't decided to color. So my options are, I could go back original color. It's Oxford white. There's a million of these things in white and they're all GTs for some reason. Looks okay. It's the cheapest route I could probably go to do this. I wanted to do like a blue, a sonic blue, but then I have to do all the jams and everything. And if I paint it sonic blue, I'm going to want to keep it. The whole idea of wanting to sell this car, it's a good car, I did a lot of stuff to it. I really don't want to sell it, but at the same time, I have all this to deal with. And once I get it painted, I got too many projects. That's what it comes down to. All right, this is the next step on the paint job. This is where we're at, and this is where we're going to be moving on from. Trying to not bore everybody, so I'm just going to film the stuff that's pertinent to what we're talking about. Here's the car. It is sanded down. I first did, I think it's 80 grit. No, it's actually hotter, more than that. So I have 40 grit paper. I just get these off Amazon. They're not that expensive. Better, don't be afraid to use as many as you need to. You see, I've used quite a few. Most of them gotten thrown away. So I go through and sand the whole thing down. You normally don't have to use 40 grit, but for whatever reason, they put some really, really thick primer sealer on here on some of the body panels. Excuse me. And it took the 40 grit to get it off. It was a lot of work. Then I went back over it with the 180 grit to knock all the rough stuff down. and then that's going to give me a good bite for the primer to adhere to. So let's do a little walk around of the car. This is going to be a color change, so I have to do the jams around the front of the car there, and just everywhere you see the white is where it needs to be resprayed, whatever color I'm going to paint it. I'm going to pull the doors when I go to do door jams. I got the hatch off. I got to sand the area in there where the hatch is. Some of these other spots, these will be covered up with the windows. You'll never see that, but I'm going to spray it anyway. The gas door and the gas door area around the license plate. Same thing over here is the other side. And check this out. This is the first chance you get to see the actual lead work from the factory, where they put the roof on the car, and then it comes around here and it goes underneath this. But yeah, they put the lead work in there, and then there was, on top of this, there was some factory Bondo. Not much, just a little tiny bit to get it smooth, because you can feel the transition, which you wouldn't have been able to do with the Bondo on there. But that was all factory. Roof's pretty good. There's some dents in the roof. You can kind of see it right here. I don't know if I can get it with the light, but there's like a row of dents from here to here to here, where somebody laid something on the car, and it had been on there for a while. Like, I think there was a pile of stuff on top of the car when I went to pick it up. There's some more lead work right there where they sealed the roof in. So that, and there's the doors and stuff. All this has been sanded down with 180. Same with these panels right here. Then we're going to come over here. I have the hatch. I just finished sanding this with 180 yesterday. And also the hood. It's also been sanded with 180. And a DA sander. It's pretty smooth now. Nice. Stuff wipes right off. Got some dents right there where I dropped the hood. The fenders have been sanded with 40 grit. It doesn't feel that much difference, but there is a difference where you can actually tell. But this is 40 grit, and I have to go back over these with 180. I'm going to lose my stickers here too. The factory VIN stickers, which you can't even read them now anyway. They're all faded out. But it just shows that these are the original fenders for this car. Took pictures of them all, but like I said, you can't even read the numbers on there, so it's kind of pointless. I'm going to do all these little areas here, hand sand those most likely. One thing, I want to fill this antenna hole too, because it's going to have a USB or a Bluetooth radio. So some people are probably thinking, why strip it down so far? Well, the reason for that is because the paint was chipping in a lot of areas, and underneath the paint where it chipped was the epoxy primer they put on there, and it had a yellowish tint to it. So it was like almost UV sun faded, even though it was under the paint. So I'm not sure why they did that, or whatever chemical they used when they sprayed the white over top. From what I can tell, it's an original paint job. There were a couple of spots that were touched up. I think the hood was one, and the left rear quarter panel was another one, where they saw that the paint was chipping off, and somebody just literally sprayed it with a spray can in those spots. But it looked terrible. I knew I was going to have to break this car down and go all the way down like I would for a color change. So I decided that, yeah, I didn't want white, because there's Ford made billions of these cars, and I don't know, most of them were white. For some reason, every time I see a GT, it's white or red. So I want to do something different. So it's going to go back, and I think I'm going to go with the Sonic Blue color. And now I'm debating on whether I'm going to do stripes or not. But yeah, Sonic Blue is what it's going to be. So I'm going to shoot that first, get the base on there. I'll shoot the base here. I may do the clear over an actual paint booth, or I might tape something off here and actually build a paint booth here and then do it in here. I just need something to keep the dust and dirt off of the paint while it's drying. If there's something gets in it afterwards, after it's on there and it's been drying quite a bit, then I can always sand it out, buff it out. But the way it is now, when I lay it in there, I don't want to get it below so far that I can't get the dirt out of the paint. And I want it to spray nice. So I'm actually going to go out and buy a legit nice spray gun, because most of the ones I have are the cheap ones. I just use them and throw them away. I don't even bother cleaning them. I get the cheap cheapy ones. I've sprayed with really good paint guns. I've sprayed with really shitty paint guns, and for the most part, they all work the same. Depends on what size tip you're using. You just have to make sure all the stuff's the same way you normally spray. So if you use a 1.8 tip or a 1.2 tip or whatever it is, or a 1.0 tip, it's going to depend on what you're spraying, how thick it is, how the finish you want to come out, whether you want a lot of paint come out or a little bit of paint. That'll be the determining factor. But I needed to go down with this and get all that epoxy primer off. Like I said, I don't know why it did what it did. And in fact, I can show you what I'm talking about. Man, that engine compartment looks like crap. That's gonna have to be resprayed as well, but I'm not gonna pull that motor back out again. But here's the paint. So this right here, you can kind of see it looks like somebody sprayed it over top, like it's been painted over top with the original paint. The gray right down here is the epoxy primer. You can see how the paint is it just flakes right off really easy. So I don't want that to happen, so I'm not going to spray over this white. It's definitely coming off. Like I said, that's why I'm stripping it all the way down. I've done several paint jobs with stripping it all the way down, and I've done paint jobs with it over top of another color. If the car was painted one time, like this one had been, and the paint's in good shape, you can just scuff it down to like 400 grit paper and then shoot it. I've had luck painting one color over top of another color. If they're a similar color, I've had luck where I've primered over that original paint just to seal it off so that it doesn't get into the new paint or mess it up in any way. There's just a bunch of different variables that you can go through when you do that. I've done them a lot of different ones, and I can't say that one way works best over another way, except for this. I've always had good luck when I've stripped it down to the bare metal. It allows me to see what body work was there before, what needs to be done. I can mark it like I did here. I put circles where the dents were, and I walked around the car with the camera. And then that way, when I put the primer on, I know what areas for sure that I need to go back and look at and fix. So, and I'm going to walk everybody through the whole process of what I do on this car. This is about as broke down as they get. You can strip it down all the way to the chassis and take everything out of the car, but that leaves a lot of problems. One, where are you going to put all the parts you take off? My garage is already full, as you can see from all the other projects I have. So that's really not an option. Taking stuff apart, and then you lose stuff when you go to put it back together and stuff. And I have multiple projects going on again. Don't want stuff getting all mixed up and stuff like that. So I'm just going to leave majority of everything on the car that I can leave on the car. A good example of that is when I go do the engine bay. I could yank the whole thing out, but it's a lot of work, a lot of prep work and everything. And really, is it worth it in the end? Maybe. I've done it on a couple cars and it looked good, but was it worth all the effort? No, not really. This right here, I'm just going to take everything off the firewall that I could unbolt. I'm going to throw it on top of the motor or pull it off, and I'm going to freaking tape off the engine, and then I'm going to go through and prep the bay and then sand and paint what I can. I can make a note of right now which holes I don't need on the firewall and stuff like that and fill those, which makes them look a little bit better when you do the paint. But I'm not sure how far down I'm going to go for that. I may just leave it. Oh, just drop that in there. Oh, I'll have to fish that out. Yeah, so I'm going to just leave it to where it still has the holes there. It'll just be painted the same color as the car. There's nothing looks worse in a different color in the bay than on the car itself. Doesn't look like it was done from the factory. Whereas the factory usually color matches it. Now what Ford does is, so they'll put a generic color in the engine bay. So if they know the car is going to go white, they spray or silver. Usually they'll spray one of those colors in here, and then they'll spray the car whatever color it's going to be. They do it with the blues, so they'll have a dark blue paint or a medium blue. They'll spray all the engine compartments that are for the blue cars that medium blue, and then they'll go back and spray the rest of the car, and then it'll sort of match. They don't do it on all the cars, and I think the newer cars, they're not doing that anymore. I think they're actually painting it the same paint they use on the body. I've seen it on a lot of the older ones though. So when you open the engine compartment, like if example, we'll say the Sonic Blue. Well, maybe they just have a generic metallic blue and they just throw that in the bay, or they won't use the metallic. They'll just use the same color blue without the metallic, and that'll be the bay color, since nobody used to really care about what the engine compartment looked like, but now people do. So makes a big difference, I guess, to them. But yeah, it'll come out good. It'll look good. I put a hydro boost on this car because I was going to swap it over to a Coyote motor one day, but I think now I'm just going to paint it, and if I can sell it, I'll sell it. If not, then I'll just keep it, and eventually I'll swap it over. But yeah, everything else works on it, so why mess up something that works? Anyway, so that's it for the paint talk. I think the next step is just finishing those fenders with the 180 and then wiping everything down. And the hood and the hatch, I'm going to flip it over and do the bottom, prep it. I've got some Scotch-Brite pads on the way. The underside of both of those look really good. I may do the inside of the fenders, I don't know, just to get some color or some kind of coating or something on them. I have Raptor liner. I could Raptor line the inside of them. It'll keep some of the noise down from the road too. Maybe I'll do the bottom of the hood, who knows. That would look pretty cool. Let's see what else talk about here. That's pretty much it. This is the whole difference in whether you're spending a couple $100 for a paint job, which I don't even think anybody even offers that anymore. If you were going to do it yourself and you just buy all the materials and just do it, it's probably the cheapest you're going to get off doing it, versus spending 10 grand paying somebody else to do it, or even more than that, is how much time and effort they put into the prep work. So could I have done this cheaper? Yes, I could have just threw some freaking Bondo on the dents, shot some primer over it, and then shot a color, and then it would look good. How long is it going to last? Probably not that long, because if the stuff on the very bottom was chipping, then chances are it's going to chip up with everything else and all the stuff above it. So you want to start at the core of the paint job and then go from there. Start from the raw metal is the best way. And you can see what you're working with, like I said before. All right, and that's where we're going with that. All right, here's where we're at with the car. It's stripped down, ready for its first coat of primer. I still have to sand the side moldings. I'm not going to pull them because the tape on there is really good right now. If I pull it off, everything I've ever tried for replacing these on other cars, they're just garbage. The tape is just garbage. So the factory stuff works the best. It's on there. It's not peeling up anywhere. Just sand them on there and shoot them with the car. I took the quarter windows out. Got to clean all the stuff up around there and sand around those areas. Roof's done. Back hatch is done. I got to sand where the license plate area is. It's no big deal. Come around here. Got the same thing on this side. Just got the quarter windows out. Took the mirrors off. Yeah, just sand the side skirts, and then around these areas, like here, should be good. Took the door locks out. Took all the stuff off the hatch. Be able to freaking paint that off. I'm gonna pull the hatch when I go to paint the car. And just tape off this area here. Same thing with the door areas when I do the door jambs. Just getting a color change on the car. The locks are out. Everything should be good now. Ready to go. This is a big project. The color change on a car sucks. It just takes so much work. And then I just got to put the filler primer on there next. Should be here later this week. And until that happens, I won't do an update. Just a week, a few more days. Shouldn't be a big deal. And then I may or may not pull these fenders off. I think I want to fill the antenna hole, but I'm not sure. Just can't make up my mind yet. I did decide on changing the color to a metallic blue. I think it's going to be the Sonic Blue from the 03 Cobra. It's my favorite blue ever. I'm going to go through the work to do it. May as well do it right. And yeah, just wasn't going to be happy with white no matter what I did. And then I'm selling the car anyway, so I mean, it really doesn't matter. But there's so many of these things that are just plain white that I think the blue will stand out more and just look better overall, in case for whatever reason it doesn't sell or whatever. I'll still be happy with the car. That's it.